You probably think modern pickup trucks have all the advantages. Stronger engines, fancy tech, smoother rides. But what if I told you that some of the classic American trucks still beat modern ones in ways you might not expect? Today you're going on a ride through 10 legendary trucks that changed the game, and in many ways set standards that today's trucks still struggle to surpass. Buckle up, because you'll meet pickups that were built with a purpose, that had character, and that left a legacy. And yes, I'll show you why newer isn't always better. You'll learn about how each of these trucks came to be, what made them special, and why they still hold a place in the hearts of truck lovers. And by the time I'm finished, I'll ask, which one surprised you the most? So keep watching. Let's start with number 1. The first truck on our list is the one that helped define what an American pickup was meant to be. The Chevrolet Advanced Design Series, 1947-55. After World War II, America was rebuilding, expanding, farming, hauling. Chevrolet responded with a pickup that wasn't just utilitarian, it had style. These trucks introduced features like a one-piece windshield, a more spacious cab, and overall stronger build. What made it special? For many farmers, small business owners, and tradesmen, this truck was the workhorse you could rely on. It didn't pretend to be a luxury car. It was tough, practical, and did its job. But Chevrolet didn't stop there. They made it look fresh, which mattered when a truck became part of daily life, not just hauling. The legacy. These advanced design trucks are now highly collected, restored, and still appreciated as authentic pieces of American automotive culture. They show how the roots of modern trucks lie in sheer utility plus growing style. Transition. But the next one I want you to meet shows how pickups really shifted from simply being tools to becoming something people emotionally cared about. 2 is the Chevrolet Task Force series, from 1955 onward. This was the truck that said you can have ruggedness and you can have flair. For the first time in GM's truck lineup, you could opt for features like V8 engines, power steering, and power brakes. Here's the story. It was 1955. America was booming. Suburbia was spreading. People did more than just work with their trucks. They drove them. Chevrolet recognized that. The task force introduced the wraparound windshield, integrated headlights, and a taller cab. That design was a statement that pickups could be part of everyday life, not just farms and fields. Why it mattered? Because it blurred the line between utility and lifestyle. That helped pave the way for the modern pickup as a vehicle you both work with and enjoy. The legacy. Today, the task force trucks are sought after restoration projects. Their design features and optional trims make them a bridge from strictly work trucks to the trucks we see now that are full-on consumer vehicles. Transition. And speaking of setting standards, Number 3 is one of the most iconic names in American pickups, and with good reason. 3 is the Ford F-Series, 5th generation, specifically the 1967-1972 era. This generation changed the game. The cab was wider, the styling sharper, the suspension improved. Here's how. When Ford launched the 1967 model year, they redesigned the F-Series to make it tougher but also more comfortable. The twin I-beam front suspension was one of the innovations, giving a smoother ride even when loaded. The story. American drivers were no longer just farmers. They were small business owners, weekend adventurers, families. Trucks had to do more. This F-Series rose to the challenge. What made it special? It combined functionality with driver comfort, and that set it apart. Legacy. Decades later, these trucks are restoration gold. They shaped what the modern full-size pickup could be. When you hear F-Series, you're hearing the echo of this generation. Transition. But we're only halfway through the list. And the next one might surprise you by being less expected, but just as influential. Bar 4 is the Dodge D-Series, particularly models from the 1960s-70s. While not always the first name people think of, Dodge's full-size pickups pushed hard in heavy-duty roles. The story. Dodge trucks were built to work, hauling loads, towing heavy, enduring. What made it special? Their focus on durability and capability meant that even today, some of the toughest jobs still respect the legacy of those trucks. Why it mattered? Because while many pickups were evolving toward comfort, the D-Series stayed true to raw ability. Legacy. Their DNA carries on in the modern Ram trucks. But the originals show how trucks could be built for work first, and style second. Transition. Now let's shift gears a bit. The next truck wasn't just a workhorse. It became a symbol of the country lifestyle that trucks represent. Is the Chevrolet CK series, starting 1960s. This one blended work and everyday life in a way that resonated. The CK line became popular because it was versatile. Story. By this era, pickup trucks were no longer just for hauling hay or doing construction work. People used them on weekends, for family trips, for hobbies. The CK's design allowed for that crossover. What made it special? Its adaptability, whether as a fleet truck or a weekend cruiser. Why it mattered? It further cemented the idea that a pickup could be both out working and on the open road with you. Legacy. Collectors value these because you can still find versions that haven't been overly modified. And when you drive one restored, you feel that sense of classic American truck in a very pure way. Transition. We're at the midpoint now. 5 down, 5 to go. And the next one might be the one you'd least expect to be on a classic truck still unbeatable list. 6 is the Ford F-100, especially early generations. E.g., this truck has a kind of quiet legend. Story. The F-100 name came about in 1953, marking Ford's half-ton line and becoming a cornerstone. What made it special? It offered proven mechanics, strong build, and was widely available, which made parts and support easier. Why it mattered? For many younger mechanics and restorers, this was the truck you could learn on. It built the culture of pickup restoration. Legacy. Because of its ubiquity and durability, many early F-100s still exist today in drivably restored form, proving sturdiness across decades. Transition. But now let's step off the beaten path a little. The next truck is more exotic in vintage terms, but still deeply American in spirit. 7 is the Chevrolet Apache, late 1950s medium-duty trucks. The story of this truck is lesser known among casual viewers, but its impact is solid. During the late 1950s, Chevrolet offered the Apache line with heavier duty capacities, and these trucks were part of the evolution of tougher pickups. They blended utility and emerging style. What made them special? They were capable and yet signaled that pickups could be serious vehicles, not just simple tools. Why it mattered? They helped lay the groundwork for the heavy-duty segment we see today. Legacy. Today you'll find restored Apaches at shows, and they command respect among vintage truck enthusiasts. Transition. Only 3 left. And the next 2 will emphasize that classic trucks weren't all about size and brute strength. Sometimes it was design or niche role that gave them their edge. 8 is the Studebaker 2R3R, 1948-54. Studebaker isn't the first name you think of in pickups, but these trucks deserve attention. The story. Post-war America needed new vehicles, and Studebaker supplied trucks with styling that stood out. Distinctive cabs, clean lines. What made them special? Their unique look and the fact Studebaker was a smaller player in the market, which meant they had to innovate a little more. Why it mattered? They represent one of the lesser-known paths in American truck evolution. Legacy. For collectors who want something different. Truck that doesn't have the same mass production history as the big brands. The 2R3R is a hidden gem. Transition. The penultimate one shows us that sometimes it's the truck you never heard much about that surprises you most. Is the Studebaker E-Series truck, 1955-60. Continuing the Studebaker story, this line pushed further. The story. These trucks came in multiple capacities, from half-ton up to 2-ton, and included both gasoline and even diesel engine options. What made them special? Their range and the ambition of having options in an era where many trucks were single-purpose. Why it mattered? They show that innovation in trucks wasn't just the big players. Smaller brands also contributed. Legacy. They sit today as interesting restorative projects for people looking for something rare, distinctive, and historically meaningful. Transition. And finally,
the one that rounds off our list.
Showing that the best classics aren't always the ones you see in every show car. 10 is the Dodge Ram Charger, or second-gen Ram concept of older days, though maybe less high profile in this list. If we step back and pick a lesser-known nominee, the heavy-duty trucks from American brands in the 1970s that emphasized raw capability in ways modern trucks still struggle to replicate in certain conditions. The story. In those years, engineers focused on maximizing load capacity, durability in harsh conditions, minimal electronics, and simple mechanics. What made them special? You could work them hard, fix them with basic tools, often in remote places. Why it mattered? In tough terrain, remote farms, long-haul work, simplicity and reliability beat complexity. Legacy. That ruggedness has influenced how we still design truck frame strength, bed capacity, towing robustness, and collectors still prize those original heavy-duty models.